there's a high level of unpredictability in farming at the moment, and I fully believe and know that we need to do everything we can to fight climate change in terms of mitigation strategies, but it would be foolish to think that we're not going somewhere a little bit more challenging and a little more climate chaotic in the very near future. How do we adapt to that, and how do we have a food system that's got a high amount of adaptive capacity to deal with some of these challenges that we're going to face? Everything comes back down to this concept of exploring diversity in the food and farming system. The Utopian Seed Project is a non-profit, and we are about 4 years old. I've been friends with a farmer, Franny Tacey, for quite some time, and she's been super supportive since the get-go to let us just use a part of her beautiful 27 acres. We don't have a lot of space. We grow a lot of different things at small scale to kind of showcase them. And then our hope is that we get them to farmers, and farmers grow them at a big enough scale to feed the food system. So this is year 3 of selecting for collards that can survive extreme temperatures in the winter. We started off with 21 heirloom varieties from a project called the Heirloom Collard Project. And then that winter we noticed that some of them died when we had this real severe cold weather event, and some of them survived. And so we decided that that's a good thing if collards can survive unprotected with extreme weather, certainly with climate change on the way here.
The thing that catches people's eye at first is the beautiful purple leaves. There's also the leaf texture and the leaf shape. I'm kind of partial to the ones that are kind of super curly like this.
That naturally existed in the collard populations, that natural diversity where the plants were different, and we're trying to encourage a bit more of that diversity coming in, basically by taking 2 different varieties and letting them share pollen with each other. It's kind of like having a baby, right? 2 different people have a baby, then the baby's going to look different to the parents. It might share some traits, but the baby's going to be a little bit different. And so we're trying to do that with plants. How do we get different plant babies so that we have more resilience within that food and farming system? Basically what we end up doing is growing a whole bunch of different varieties of crops that people recognize, but we also look at trying to increase the number of crops in the system. So what crops could be grown here that aren't currently grown at any scale. These big mother tubers are beautiful once you get down past the slime. So what we've got in this box is taro. You can kind of see we pulled up the whole plant. It's a really ancient food across the tropics, domesticated thousands and thousands of years ago. It's a staple in lots of different cultures. The primary crop for us are these root crops here. Anything you can do with a potato, you can do with taro. So you can chip it, you can mash it, you can definitely fry it. It's kind of like a starchy, white-fleshed tuber, basically. A lot of the tropicals, the instant response is I just didn't know you could grow that here. And for the large part, I think it's because people have never asked the question. So the Utopian Seed Project, sometimes it's just open-minded curiosity. Oh, that sounds cool, can we grow it here? And sometimes it's an epic fail, sometimes it's marginal and we keep working with it and need to find the right variety. And some crops like taro were oh wow, that grows really productively here and really could have a place in the food system. We've got lots of farmers markets and farmers, and that's fantastic. But then if we take one more step back from that, we're where do those farmers get the seeds to grow that food? Very, very little seed is grown at any scale in the Southeast.
People that are already interested in local agriculture, it means a lot to them to go to their farmer's market and meet their farmer, and it's part of this system that's very close to home, and I don't think that they understand that those seeds are coming from quite far away. No matter how many local farmers you have, if you don't have local seed farmers, then there's this weak foundation of the local food system.
We're all engaged in food because we have to eat. So whether we recognize it or not, we're part of a food system. The 2 basic components of that food system is the supply, the farmers, and the demand, the consumers. But there's lots of other components. We need to also have a supply chain for the seeds, not just the food, because the farmer can grow the food, but they need the seeds to be able to grow the food. So how do we get more seeds into that system? All these questions that I think are asked of the food system aren't asked of the seed system, but they are as important, if not more important, because that seed is it's the genetic agricultural, tiny little miraculous package of information that informs everything that's going to happen on the farm from that point forward.
For farmers, if they're buying seed that is always coming from somewhere very far away, then those plants kind of like show up here in the South, and it's like a very different climate. I've been talking to more local seed savers and people that have kind of committed to saving their own seed on farm, and a lot of them will like tell you that they see their yields go up a lot when they start saving their own seed. I think year after year when the plant like knows where it's from, like it gives it like the chance to adapt to this place.
As we set up the Utopian Seed Project, we quickly ran into this challenge where we didn't have the space or capacity to grow enough seed to support a regional farmer network.
And that's kind of how the Seed Growers Collective came about. For there to be more seed growers in this area, there's a couple barriers that they come up against. Equipment is a really big one. There's a big difference between doing everything by hand and having like a few simple machines can help you scale up a lot. It's also expertise. Mostly farmers learn from other farmers. How did you process this? How long did you need to let it dry? A lot of the seed saving information that's out there is not necessarily like tailored super well for our region. Sometimes we're like, oh, it gets really humid here, like really late in the season. Do you think I can pull my like beans like way earlier than somebody else might? Just kind of having that conversation with other farmers around you like gives you the confidence to be able to do that. It kind of puts the seed back in the farmer's hands a little bit.
There's just like so much potential and beauty and diversity and flavor in the food system. Well, not in the food system. There should be in the food system and isn't. How do we get it out there? How do we make farmers grow it and have chefs and consumers want it? And some of it's literally just an awareness campaign. And the challenge with agriculture is it kind of moves slowly, and we have to shift everything at the same time, right? We could easily persuade a farmer to grow taro, but if they don't have somebody to buy it, then they're not going to grow it again because they'll be annoyed at me. And we could easily persuade a chef and have that taro is delicious and they should have it on their menu, but then their very first question is, where can I buy 50 pounds of this every week to put on my menu? And we're like, oh, bugger, we've got to go back to the farmers. So we're always doing this kind of juggling act.
It's important for farmers to be able to reach the chefs directly. It's good for our economy and it's good for our community. I think what he's doing is challenging us, which is great, reintroducing or bringing new crops to us. We're gonna make it enticing to the public because we're gonna cook it, but he's already done the work to grow it, to bring it to us. What's this variety?
We have Puerto Rican variety. It grows bigger mothers.
I'm gonna actually peel them and then slice it and then deep fry them and see what happens. See what happens, right? My name is Jay Chong, pronouns are she, her. I live here in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm a private chef here. My cuisine is Cantonese food, so it's very important for me to try to bring Cantonese cuisine, try to reintroduce it to Western North Carolina. I made a sorghum congee, minced pork with some fresh taro in there, and today I'm gonna go ahead and slice some taro thin, deep fry it so we can have some nice chips on top. Start with some chili oil here, some pop sorghum.
We're doing work in the fields, and I think that's really important, but when these crops and ingredients go through the hands of like a professional chef, then they just come out on the other end as like just magical creations.
This is a yacon. It's a root vegetable. It tastes a lot like a potato, but with apple, citrus, like fruit notes. It's best baked like a dessert or made into a syrup or a powder, roasted, anything you can do with a sweet potato or an apple, really.
So good, y'all. Oh my gosh.
That grows underground.
It does.
It grows in the ground. The
like
ice cream's made from things you grew in the
That's
ground
true.
too.
This is a root dessert. It's awesome.
Yeah.
If we're gonna inspire people to change the way they interact with the food and farming system, then this is where it's at. I can talk about climate resilience and farming techniques all day long, but all you need to do is taste this and go like, I want to have sorghum and yacon in my diet every single day. For us, what we think about is maybe in 5 years' time, maybe in 10 years' time, we could imagine a food system where some of these crops like taro or yacon are being grown by farmers, sold in farmers markets. Maybe they've made them into the co-ops. Chefs are buying them. You see them on menus. People are sharing recipes on social media. and nobody even talks about the Utopian Seed Project. Like, once these crops are like autonomously adopted into the food system and just have a life of their own, then we can be like, we've done it, job good, let's move on to the next crop type of thing. And that's what we're really trying to push towards.